Imagine you're thousands of feet below the surface of the ocean. It's pitch black, the pressure is immense, and you're completely alone. And then, you hear it. A sound that shouldn't exist. A sound that science, with all its advanced technology and brilliant minds, simply cannot explain. For decades, sensitive hydrophones, basically underwater microphones, have been listening to the abyss, and what they've recorded is the stuff of nightmares and endless mystery. These aren't just random noises, they are distinct, powerful, and sometimes they sound almost intelligent. Today we're diving deeper than any submarine has ever gone, into a world of pure auditory mystery. We are going to listen to the top 10 most baffling sounds ever recorded in our oceans. From a creature so loud it dwarfs the sound of a blue whale, to a signal that has been sweeping across the entire Pacific Ocean for over 30 years. Each sound tells a story, a puzzle that has left oceanographers and military analysts completely stumped. Some people think it's undiscovered sea monsters, others point to secret military experiments, or even geological phenomena we don't yet understand, so get ready because we're about to explore the sonic ghosts of the deep. I've gathered all the declassified recordings, the scientific reports, and the wildest theories for you. What you are about to hear will change the way you see the ocean forever. Are these the voices of unknown leviathans, the echoes of ancient geological events, or something far, far stranger? You decide. Let's start the countdown with a sound so strange it was named the whistle. Alright, let's kick things off with our first mystery. Picture this. It's 1997 and a network of hydrophones floating in the vast empty expanse of the western Pacific Ocean picks up something weird. It wasn't a whale, it wasn't a submarine, it was a sharp, focused, repeating sound. Scientists on watch described it as a piercing woo-woo noise like a distant, ethereal whistle echoing through the crushing depths. It was so distinct and so clear that it immediately got flagged for investigation. What could possibly make a sound like that over and over in the middle of nowhere? The sound, officially codenamed the whistle, was recorded by an autonomous hydrophone, a lonely listening post drifting on the currents. The signal was incredibly narrow band, meaning it was a very pure tone, unlike the complex calls of most marine life. This is what really stumped the experts. Biological sounds are usually messy, with lots of different frequencies mixed together. This was clean, it was almost artificial. The mystery deepened as they tried to pinpoint the source, but the sound was elusive, appearing and disappearing without a clear pattern, making it nearly impossible to track. So, what are the theories? The scientific community is split. One of the leading explanations is that it could be volcanic or seismic activity. Imagine a submarine volcano venting gas through a small fissure in the Earth's crust. The pressure release could create a high-pitched whistling sound like air escaping a tire. It's a plausible idea, but the sound's repetitive, almost melodic nature doesn't perfectly fit the chaotic profile of a typical volcanic vent. It just seems too organized for a random act of geology. Then you have the more thrilling and frankly more terrifying theories. Given its location in the Pacific, a hotbed of naval activity, some have speculated it could be top-secret military technology. Maybe a new type of unmanned drone, a secret sonar system, or even a classified weapon being tested far from prying eyes. The clean, artificial nature of the sound certainly fits this narrative. But to this day, no government has claimed it, and the sound remains an official mystery, a lonely whistle from the abyss that we may never understand. Next up is a sound so haunting, so mournful, it was given a human name: Julia. On March 1, 1999, the entire eastern equatorial Pacific hydrophone array lit up. Every single sensor in the region detected the same bizarre noise. It was a long, drawn-out cry, a sort of desperate cooing sound that lasted for over 15 seconds. Imagine hearing a lost, sorrowful voice calling out from the deepest, darkest part of the planet. That's what the scientists at NOAA heard that day, and it sent chills down their spines. The sound was loud enough to be heard across thousands of miles of ocean, indicating its source had to be immensely powerful. When analysts processed the recording, they described it as sounding like someone moaning or wailing in distress. The name Julia was given to it by the researchers because of its strange, almost human-like vocal quality. The sheer volume and emotional tone of the sound immediately ruled out most known marine animals. It was too sustained, too loud, and frankly too creepy to be a simple whale call. For years, the leading theory was that Julia was the sound of a massive Antarctic iceberg running aground. The idea is that a colossal chunk of ice weighing millions of tons scraped against the seabed off the coast of Antarctica. The immense friction and fracturing of the ice could, in theory, generate a powerful, low-frequency groan that would travel vast distances underwater. This became the accepted, if not entirely satisfying explanation for over 2 decades. It explained the volume and the location, but not the strangely emotional, wailing quality of the sound itself. But here's where it gets really weird. The story of Julia should have ended there, a closed case file in the annals of acoustic mysteries. But then, in 2022, hydrophones in the exact same region picked up a new sound. When they analyzed it, they were shocked. It was Julia. The same haunting coo, the same duration, the same frequency. Back again after more than 20 years of silence. Is it possible another giant iceberg just happened to run aground in the same way? Or is something else down there, waking up and calling out from the darkness? This next one sounds like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi horror movie. On May 19, 1997, a listening station in the equatorial Pacific recorded one of the strangest acoustic events ever. It started as a high-pitched, almost metallic screech, and then, over the course of about 7 minutes, the sound began to slow down. The frequency dropped steadily and smoothly, like a futuristic engine powering down. This bizarre descending pitch earned it the name the slowdown, and it has baffled researchers ever since. This wasn't a one-off event. The slowdown has been recorded periodically since that first detection, always in the same region of the Pacific Ocean. Its signature is unmistakable. Each time it follows the same pattern, a high-frequency start, followed by a gradual, unnatural-sounding decrease in pitch. The sound is so powerful it can be detected by sensors spread over 2,000 kilometers apart. Whatever is making this noise is either massive, incredibly loud, or both. The smooth descent in frequency is what makes it so hard to explain with natural phenomena. Scientists have scrambled for an explanation. The most common theory, similar to Julia, points to ice. Specifically, the friction of a large ice sheet moving over land in Antarctica could create a stick-slip motion like rubbing a wet finger on a wine glass. This could potentially generate a sound that changes in frequency as the friction and speed of the ice changes. It's a good theory, but it doesn't quite explain the metallic, almost mechanical quality of the screech, or why it's so consistently recorded in the equatorial Pacific, thousands of miles from Antarctica. But there's another, more clandestine layer to this mystery. When researchers mapped the location of the sound source, they found it was detected near declassified routes used by United States Navy submarines during the Cold War. This has led to intense speculation. Could the slowdown be some kind of advanced propulsion system, a new form of sonar, or perhaps an old, abandoned piece of military hardware on the seafloor, slowly breaking down and emitting this strange, dying cry? The Navy isn't talking, leaving the slowdown as another ghost in the machine. Get ready for one of the longest-running audio mysteries of the deep. Since the 1960s, submarine crews and oceanographers operating in the treacherous Southern Ocean have been haunted by a sound they nicknamed the bio-duck. It's this repetitive, low-frequency quacking noise. Imagine, for a second, a space duck, or maybe a mechanical duck, quacking in this rhythmic pattern. That's what sailors heard through their sonar systems, a sound so bizarre and out of place in the icy waters near Antarctica that for 50 years, nobody had a clue what it was. The sound consists of a series of repetitive pulses like quack 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 that are highly structured and almost sound, well, man-made. In fact, for decades, the prevailing theory was that it actually man-made. Submariners suspected it was some kind of foreign sonar, maybe a beacon, or even a new type of anti-submarine weapon. The sound was so persistent and so strange that it became a piece of naval folklore, a kind of phantom signal that tracked their movements through the world's most remote ocean. The bio part of its name was almost a joke because honestly no one believed a living thing could make such a mechanical noise. The mystery of the bio-duck lasted for over half a century. Scientists deployed countless hydrophones trying to triangulate the source, but it was just maddeningly difficult. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. They considered everything from fish to geological activity, but yeah, no theory stuck. The sound just didn't match any known animal or natural event. It remained a complete enigma, a constant rhythmic quacking from the bottom of the world. Then, in 2014, a breakthrough finally happened. A team of researchers tagged several Antarctic minke whales with acoustic sensors, and when they reviewed the data, they found it. The whales were making the bio-duck sound. It turns out this incredibly strange mechanical quacking was a vocalization from an animal we thought we knew. But, this discovery opened up a whole new set of questions. Why do they make this sound? Is it for communication, navigation, mating? We've identified the source, but the purpose of the bioduck and what the whales are actually saying is still a total mystery. This one is different. It's not a single event or a call from some creature. This is a sound that seems to be a permanent feature of the Pacific Ocean itself. It's called the upsweep, and it has been continuously recorded by NOAA since they started listening in 1991. It's a long train of narrowband, upsweeping sounds, each lasting several seconds. It's a constant rising tone that echoes across the entire ocean basin, a never-ending siren song from the deep. Unlike other mysterious sounds that come and go, the upsweep is always there. It's part of the background noise of the Pacific. Its source has been roughly triangulated to a location in the deep Pacific, southwest of South America, but the exact point is still unknown. What's truly bizarre is that the sound appears to be seasonal. It's loudest during the spring and fall. Why would a sound change its volume with the seasons? This cyclical nature suggests a link to the natural world, but the sound itself is so peculiar that it just defies an easy explanation. The leading scientific theory is that the upsweep is related to volcanic and seismic activity. The proposed source is in a region of active undersea volcanoes. The idea is that the sound is generated by the complex interplay of magma, seawater, and the unique geological features of the seafloor in that area. Maybe the seasonal changes in ocean currents or water pressure are affecting the volcanic activity, causing the sound to get louder and quieter throughout the year. It's honestly the most logical explanation we have. But even that theory doesn't sit right with everyone. The sound has been remarkably consistent for over 3 decades. If it were a typical volcano, you'd expect more variation, eruptions, and changes in the sound's character. Instead, the upsweep just keeps on sweeping, a constant rising hum that has become the heartbeat of the Pacific. Is it really just a volcano? Or is it the sound of a massive unknown geological process? A slow-motion event that we are only just beginning to detect? The ocean isn't telling. In 1997, the same year that gave us the bloop and the slowdown, another incredibly strange sound was detected in the frigid waters of the Ross Sea, near Antarctica. This one was so distinct, so rhythmic, and so familiar sounding that it was immediately nicknamed the train. Listening to the recording, you can totally understand why. It sounds exactly like a distant steam engine, a steady chugga-chugga-chugga noise that slowly rises in frequency before fading away. It's a sound that belongs on a railway, not in the deepest, coldest ocean on Earth. The sound was recorded by multiple hydrophones, which allowed scientists to get a rough idea of its location and movement. And that's where it got even stranger. The source of the train wasn't stationary, it was moving. It traveled across the Ross Sea, chugging along like a phantom locomotive on an invisible track laid across the seafloor. The sound was low frequency and incredibly powerful, suggesting that whatever was making it had to be enormous. What could possibly be moving through the Antarctic waters, making the sound of an old-timey train? The scientific explanation is, once again, ice. But this time it's a very specific and dramatic phenomenon. Researchers believe the train is the sound of a massive iceberg scraping and grinding along the ocean floor. As the colossal block of ice is pushed by currents, it doesn't move smoothly. It sticks, builds up pressure, and then lurches forward, creating a rhythmic, low-frequency vibration. This stick-slip movement could, at least in theory, sound like a chugging train. It explains the sound, the volume, and the movement. However, the theory isn't perfect. The sound is remarkably consistent and rhythmic, more so than you might expect from the chaotic grinding of an iceberg. And no specific iceberg has ever been definitively linked to a train recording, so the mystery lingers. Could it be something else? Some unknown marine animal with a bizarre rhythmic vocalization, or maybe a piece of lost technology drifting with the currents? For now, the ghost train of the Ross Sea continues to be one of the ocean's most evocative and puzzling sounds. Let's travel back in time to the height of the Cold War. In the icy, contested waters of the Arctic Ocean, US and Soviet submarines played a deadly game of cat and mouse. During these tense patrols, American submariners started detecting a bizarre sound on their sonar. It was a series of rapid pulses that sounded, once again, like a duck. But this was a different duck from the one in Antarctica. This one was faster, more aggressive, and it seemed to be actively tracking them. They called it the Quacker. The Quacker was a serious problem for the US Navy. It appeared to follow their submarines, mimicking their sonar pings and sometimes completely jamming their equipment. The sound was so persistent and so intelligent in its behavior that for years the Navy was convinced it was a top-secret Soviet anti-submarine weapon. They believed the Soviets had developed some kind of acoustic device or unmanned drone designed specifically to hunt and harass American subs. It was a terrifying prospect, a ghost in the machine that could follow them anywhere. The mystery of the Quacker became a high-priority intelligence issue. The Navy spent years and millions of dollars trying to identify the source. They analyzed the acoustic signature, tracked its movements, and tried to capture it, but it was always one step ahead. It would appear out of nowhere, quack at them for a while, and then vanish without a trace. The sound was so elusive, and its behavior so seemingly deliberate, that it fueled all sorts of speculation within the naval community. Decades later, with the Cold War over, some information was declassified but no definitive answer emerged. The Soviets never claimed to have such a device. This has led to an even wilder theory, that the Quacker wasn't technology at all. Some biologists and cryptozoologists have proposed that it was an unknown species of marine animal. A creature that had evolved the ability to mimic sonar pings, perhaps as a defense mechanism or a hunting technique. Could there be a creature in the Arctic depths smart enough to play games with nuclear submarines? The Quacker remains one of the ocean's greatest military and biological mysteries. Now for the most famous, most powerful, and honestly the most terrifying, unexplained sound ever recorded, the bloop. In the summer of 1997, hydrophones in the southern Pacific thousands of miles apart all picked up the same thing. It was this ultra-low frequency, high-amplitude sound that rose rapidly in frequency for about 1 minute and then just disappeared. The sound was so powerful it was detected by sensors over 5,000 kilometers apart. To be heard over that distance, the source had to be unbelievably loud. When scientists at NOAA analyzed the sound, they were stunned. The acoustic signature of the bloop didn't match anything they had ever heard before. It wasn't a submarine, it wasn't a bomb, and it wasn't any known geological event like an earthquake. What was truly chilling was its frequency profile. It had the characteristics of a biological sound. It sounded organic. But for an animal to make a noise that loud, it would have to be gargantuan, far larger than any known creature on Earth, including the blue whale, which is actually the loudest animal we know of. For years, the bloop fueled nightmares and endless speculation. The idea of a colossal, unknown creature lurking in the abyss really captured the public imagination. H.P. Lovecraft fans were quick to point out that the coordinates of the bloop's source were eerily close to the location of the sunken city of R'lyeh, the resting place of the monstrous Cthulhu. Was it just a coincidence, or was the bloop the sound of some ancient slumbering leviathan stirring in its sleep? The mystery was so profound it became a legend. After years of debate, NOAA eventually offered an official explanation. They concluded that the bloop was most likely the sound of a large icequake, a massive iceberg fracturing and cracking as it breaks apart. This would generate immense acoustic energy and could plausibly be heard across an entire ocean. While this is now the widely accepted scientific consensus, a shadow of doubt remains for many. The sound's organic signature is still hard to reconcile with cracking ice. Was it really just an iceberg? Or did science offer up the safest explanation for a sound that was simply too terrifying to contemplate? This story is less about a mystery and more about a tragedy. It's the story of an individual, a creature known as the 52 Hz whale, often called the world's loneliest creature. Since 1989, a single unique whale call has been detected year after year in the North Pacific. The call is clearly identifiable as a whale, but it's at a frequency of 52 Hz. This is much higher than the typical frequencies of blue whales, which call between 10 and 40 Hz, and fin whales, which call at around 20 Hz. Think about what this means. This whale is speaking a language that no one else can understand. It's calling out into the vast empty ocean, but its voice is at a pitch that other whales of its kind likely can't hear or comprehend. It's like shouting into a room where everyone is deaf to your specific frequency. For over 3 decades, this singular call has been tracked as it roams the Pacific, following a migratory path, but always completely alone. It never gets a response. The identity of the whale is a complete mystery. Scientists speculate it could be a unique hybrid of a blue whale and a fin whale, or possibly the last surviving member of an unknown whale species. It could also be a whale with a physical deformity that affects its vocal cords, forcing it to sing at this unusual pitch. Whatever the reason, the result is a life of profound isolation. Its story is so heartbreaking that it has inspired songs, books, and even a documentary touching people all over the world. And the story isn't over. The 52 Hertz whale is still out there. Its distinctive call was detected as recently as 2023. After more than 30 years, it is still swimming, still calling out into the void, a solitary voice in the symphony of the deep. Its lonely song is a poignant reminder of how much we still have to learn about the ocean, and the incredible, sometimes tragic lives of the creatures that call it home. It's a ghost of the ocean, not because it's scary, but because it's unheard. We've explored sounds that are old, sounds that are loud, and sounds that are lonely. But our final mystery is perhaps the most fundamental and mind-bending of all. It's not a creature, it's not an iceberg, and it's not a secret weapon. It's a recent discovery from 2023 that suggests the entire ocean floor might be humming. Scientists analyzing data from hundreds of seismometers placed on the seabed across the globe discovered something astonishing: a constant, low-frequency hum. This isn't a random noise, it's a sustained musical note. Specifically, it's an F-sharp, vibrating at multiple octaves all over the planet. It's a global phenomenon, detected in the deepest abyssal zones, from the Pacific to the Atlantic. The Earth's oceans are literally humming a constant planetary-scale chord. The sound is too low for human ears to hear without amplification, but it is undeniably there. A background note to the entire marine world. The discovery is so new that scientists are just beginning to grapple with its implications. So what could possibly be making the entire ocean floor vibrate like a colossal musical instrument? The leading theory is as grand as the sound itself. It's thought to be caused by the collision of long-period ocean waves. As massive waves, known as infragravity waves, move across the ocean in opposite directions, they can collide and interact with the seafloor. This interaction generates pressure on the seabed, causing it to vibrate at a very specific and resonant frequency, creating the F-sharp hum. This is a shocking and beautiful idea. It suggests that the ocean isn't just a body of water, it's a dynamic system that can make the planet's crust ring like a bell. But this is still just a theory. The precise mechanism is not yet fully understood. We have just discovered that our planet has its own background music, a deep, resonant hum that has likely been playing for eons, unheard until now. It's the ultimate mystery, not a sound in the ocean, but the sound of the ocean itself. What other secrets is the planet singing that we haven't learned to hear yet? From the lonely call of a unique whale to the planet itself humming a musical note, the ocean's mysteries are far from solved. We've listened to 10 sounds that defy easy explanation, each one a breadcrumb leading us deeper into a world we know so little about. These aren't just spooky noises, they are data points, clues that tell us the abyss is more active, more complex, and honestly, infinitely stranger than we ever imagined. For every sound we've identified, like the bioduck, a dozen more questions arise. And for sounds like the bloop or the whistle, we're left with nothing but speculation. What's truly incredible is that these are just the sounds we happen to record. The ocean covers over 70% of our planet, and we've explored less than 5% of it. What other sounds are echoing in the 95% we haven't even seen yet? What creatures, geological events, or unknown phenomena are creating a symphony of the deep that we have yet to hear? Every time we deploy a new hydrophone or a deep-sea drone, we are essentially turning on a microphone in the universe's most mysterious room, and we never know what we're going to hear. So next time you look out at the ocean, remember that beneath that calm, silent surface is a world of sound. A world of screaming, whistling, moaning, and humming. It's a reminder that the age of discovery is not over. The biggest mysteries on Earth aren't in space, they're right here, waiting in the dark, crushing pressure of the deep. Thanks for diving with me into the mystery. If you have your own theory about one of these sounds, drop it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe because there are plenty more mysteries in the depths to explore.